rAVe Radio. With rants and raves, you'll be okay. And today is your lucky day. It is rants and raves with Gary.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Rants and Raves. I'm Steph Beckett. Joining me for this episode is Dave MacKinnon of ClearComm. First of all, welcome Dave. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell the people who you are and a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Dave MacKinnon, VP of Technology or VP of Product Management for ClearComm. Used to work for NBC Universal for about 12 years, and then did my own thing for a couple of years as a consultant. So I've been in and around the industry for a while.
That's awesome. So we both were at NAB in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. Kind of coming out of that, could you talk a little bit about the conversations that you had, what customers and partners were asking for, and did anything really surprise you in those conversations?
Nothing surprised me. I mean, we had a pretty big launch with FreeSpeak Cell, which is our cellular-based belt pack. A lot of the conversations were around that, and what I was really happy about was it kind of unlocked some people that probably hadn't considered ClearComm before were stopping by to see what we were working on, and then it opened up some other avenues. It was interesting. I was just on a call earlier today with a large station group, and we were talking about how like the first day of the show, first day or two is kind of like customers and end users, and then the last day of the show-ish is more like vendor to vendor or kind of we use it for our partner, groups. And so the show's changed a lot. Like it is post-COVID, I think it's very different than it was pre-COVID. So yeah, I mean, that first day we were slammed.
Yeah.
It was good to have all those conversations.
No, absolutely. Did you kind of see any meaningful shifts in how people are thinking about communication systems right now, whether that's with flexibility or whether they're thinking about scalability or just how they're deployed?
I mean, all of it, frankly. There's a lot of it that goes into it. Everyone's trying to get more efficient, right? The broadcast industry as a whole is just under tremendous economic pressure. It really is unprecedented between kind of what COVID did and even pre-COVID, the viewing patterns had changed. But then, post-COVID, now with AI, there's just a lot more going on that the broadcast industry has to deal with. And I think, for us, it's really about making sure that the employees that are working there, the content creators, folks like yourself, they have the tools they need that they can get the job done and they can be kind of force multipliers and do more with less. So I'd say it's less about efficiency than post-COVID. I think there was a lot of kind of downsizing and reductions in staff. Now it's more about, okay, with the folks that we have, how do we do more, right? Whether it's AI or, MMJs or whatever, like how do we create more content and get out there?
Absolutely. What do you think is truly then driving adoption right now? What do you think is pushing organizations to either invest versus like hold back right now? Because I feel like there is some push and pull.
There is. So it's interesting. I would say that there's a bit of an analysis paralysis around some of the AI stuff, right? Where people are kind of taking a step back and saying, hey, I'm going to wait for the next version of this. I'm going to wait to see what, Anthropic or OpenAI does before I jump into spending $500,000 on something. And I think some of that caution is good. I also think some of it's overblown, right? Like I think some of it is there are changes that AI is going to drive for sure, 100%. I don't know that it's going to be as upsetting the apple cart as a lot of the folks that are behind it seem to think. And so I think it's good to have some caution. It's good to take your time and kind of think through the decisions of how you're going to put your capital down. But I don't know that people are going to have answers in 3 to 6 months like they're hoping they will.
That's really fair. There is like this rush because other companies see other companies utilizing AI. Right. So there is almost like, well, if they're doing it, we have to be doing it. And so there's almost like this rush to find out how to use AI rather than like looking at what you're having a hard time doing right now to see if AI can possibly help you or make that easier.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting at the show, like a lot of vendors, partners, not competitors, but, anybody at the show, like they were slapping AI on everything. Right. And,
right.
it drives me nuts. Like as a former, purchaser and user of this stuff at NBC, like, I remember when it was, 3D or 4K or whatever, like everyone was putting, the latest, buzzword on their product. That drives me crazy. Like I think AI has a place, and I certainly don't think it's anything to minimize. I think for us at ClearComm, we are looking to use it in a very targeted way, and make it something that's an advantage to our customers. We're not looking to just slap AI on all of our products and say, now built with AI inside or whatever. So I think there's a difference in mentality in some of the vendors of kind of how to use AI and whatnot. And I think for the content creators, I think there was initial fear, right? Like, oh my God, this is another thing I have to manage, or is this going to take my job? Is it going to, reduce the headcount of MMJs or reporters or photogs or whatever?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the industry has realized that we don't necessarily need to reduce staff. What we need to do is take the staff that we have and create more content and use it other places, whether that's fast channels or, podcasts or whatever, right? Like, and we want to be an enabler in that market. And I think we're positioning ourselves to do that.
Absolutely. So from NAB, everything that you saw, everything that you talked about, and everything that you guys showed, what are you taking away that's going to influence your roadmap or priorities for the rest of the year and onward?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is interoperability, right? So we do intercom, we do mission critical communications, and we do it very, very well, right? That's our niche. And I think there are other companies who do intercom, but they also do video, and they also do audio, and they do multi-viewers, and they do all this other stuff. That's not us. That's not ClearComm. So in order to kind of fulfill that same need for the customer, we have to have partners. And so a lot of the meetings that I had on the last couple of days of the show were with our partners to talk about how we make our stuff work with their stuff. And so, you think about like TD sitting down and operating an automated newscast.
Mm-hmm.
How do we tie in with Overdrive or Ignite so that they don't have another box sitting on their desk, another panel they have to touch, but it's all kind of intuitive and managed automatically for them, as some sort of integration with whatever that automation product is. And so that's, my kind of takeaway was, okay, we're in a position now where we need to do that more and do it better.
That kind of comes back to what you and I talked about at NAB, which was like user friendliness, but really thinking about like user friendly does not mean the same thing when it comes to different products and who those products are for. And a lot of times your end user is an MMJ, a multimedia journalist who is not a technologist first and foremost. So while they don't need to have something that's probably as easy to use as something that like a K through 12 teacher would need, like there is a certain ease of use and like something that they can very quickly pick up on and use to produce, because one, like they don't have time to press a million different buttons to run a program usually, and two, like they just don't have time to learn a huge new piece of technology.
100%. So it's more about like the mind share or the attention for the MMJ or the end user, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
They don't need another system to learn. And if they do learn a system, so if you learn ClearComm, what we're trying to do, and I think we're doing it pretty well, is making sure that if you use a wireless belt pack or you use our iOS app or you use our desktop app, that the experience is so similar that you don't have to learn how to use it all over again. It just is what it is, right? And, so that's part of it. I think the other piece of it is a lot of kind of the like more kind of esoteric, complicated software tools that MMJs have to use. I hope that the industry decides to kind of jettison those and go with kind of standards-based and very simple, easy to use. The journalist should really be focused on the journalism piece and not how to be a technologist. I mean, you have to understand it, right? You have to know enough to be dangerous, but at the same time, like, it's really important that those folks are able to focus on gathering content and producing content and not troubleshooting or figuring out how to use their comm system or how to use their editing platform or whatever, right? Like, it really is about lowering that friction level so that you can literally hand like our belt pack to a user, and it's pretty intuitive, right? There's not a ton to learn. and we try to lower that threshold all the time. We have to remind ourselves a lot that we're audio specialists, or we're broadcasters, and like we're broadcast engineers or whatever. That's not the end user, right? And so I spend a ton of time with end users, whether they're at theme parks or broadcast stations or aerospace industries or whatever, talking about how can we make this easier for you to use, because that's really something we're going after. It's a pillar of what we deliver.
And that's a great outlook, because, when you think about all of the products that are out there in the broadcast industry, in the AV industry, there are not many that do that. They're made by the guys that made it and for the guys who made it, not for the people who are actually going to be using it day to day.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. I remember at NBC at one point, like our biggest consumer of like compute for PCs was Chrome, because every journalist had 40 browser tabs open with all sorts of different tools, whether it's social media, web publishing, editing, whatever. And it's just adding to another tab or another thing that they have to do. I just don't want to be there, right? And so for us, it's really important to integrate with what they're already using, but also if they do have to use a separate tool or application, that it's just really simple and straightforward, and not something that they have to spend a day learning.
Absolutely. So last question I have for you is, where can people find more about ClearComm and everything that you had at NAB, and will you guys be at InfoComm, and what booth?
So yes, we'll be at InfoComm, and that's another great show for us to showcase the same types of products we had at NAB, maybe with a little different end user in mind, and great conversations. But then leading up to that, if anybody has any desire to seek out more information, clearcomm.com is a great resource, but also our social media stuff is well updated, and there's lots of content there, including a bunch of interviews that I've done and other folks have done on Free Speak Cell and some of the other cool products that we have coming out. So LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming on to Rants and Raves.
Thanks for having me.
All right. This has been another episode, everybody. Again, I'm Steph Beckett, and we will see you next time. Bye.
rAVe Radio with Rants and Raves.